Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday, the 16th day of May, 2024. I hope you're safe and healthy today. I hope your family's also safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field who, along with the first responders, are out here saving lives every day. Those also that make deliveries for our convenience and those that pick up garbage to keep our places clean. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are the unfortunate victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of pornography and child pornography, prostitution and child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses upon the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that drive these industries. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children, and veterans, and elderly people homeless in the United States of America. And millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So tomorrow, the Knicks play Game 6 in Indianapolis. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. Today, I want to talk about Zach Edey. I'm looking at all the prospects, and I got to give props. I forgot. Let me get the brother's name proper because somebody asked me to look at him, and I did. Most of the time, I'm going to be honest, people ask me to look at players, and they're not worth my time. But somebody asked me to look at this Zach Edey, and I did. And I'm sorry, I can't, if I blew your name or if I don't have it. I'm looking at my emails and I don't see it. I forgot who it was, but so I'm sure you'll let me know. But so I'm looking at Zach Edey, and I like him in the second round. See, every year there's certain things that happen every year, and people always fall for it. For example, every summer there's a ton of this guy to the Knicks talk. Every summer, this guy or that guy to the Knicks. Most of it is BS from platforms that prove themselves to be BS. But every year, people fall for it, and to the point where they're thinking these rumors are coming from, the Don. Like, I just had some knucklehead yesterday tell me the Don was intent on getting Donovan Mitchell. No, he wasn't. The media told you that. And you start to act like it was really him, and it wasn't. Okay? Don't let the media dictate what you think the Knicks are doing. Look at the Knicks. Understand what they're trying to do. Understand what their culture is, because they have one now. And then you'll understand what their next moves are. Okay? So now, talking about Zach Edey, what the Knicks are looking for is an NBA talent, somebody that can play in the league, somebody that's tough, somebody that can rebound, somebody that can guard the rim, somebody that has a motor, which is where Zach Edey is questionable, which is why I put him in the second round. The Don is not going to play first round money this year. He's not going to unless he has something that he really can't pass up. And honestly, I'm looking at this draft, and I don't see anything like that. I don't see anything that we just say we got to take this guy. Like I had somebody bring up Bronny James. Bronny James, whoever, let me just make sure. And again, every single year, people in the draft overhype guys because they're great in college. College is not the league. You have to project a guy what he can do in the league, not in college. College don't mean anything. Okay, I like to bring up Jimmer Fredette. He was a great college player. Did not play in the league because it wasn't the league. Okay, whatever Brigham Young or wherever he played, that's not the league. Okay, so we have to project if guys could play in the NBA. It's a bigger, stronger, faster, quicker league. The best athletes in the world in basketball in the league. Okay, so now everybody that's great in college can play in the league. So Bronny James, listen, I hope he does make it in the league. He is not his father. Obviously, he's not LeBron James. And I don't know where he would be picked. I'm sure he's inherited his father's athleticism, okay, because he is LeBron James' son. He's about 6'3", but he wouldn't play. Anybody the Knicks draft is not playing for 2 seasons. Okay? So, and there's always knuckleheads every year because they got hype from these people on college basketball thing. Well, now they'll break the rotation next year. No, there's nobody in this draft. Nobody, top to bottom, that's going to play next year for the Knicks. Nobody. Y'all need to understand, the Knicks are stacked at every position, which is why we're in the position we're in right now. Even with missing Julius Randle, Josh Hart comes in. Missing Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein comes in. Precious comes in. Okay, so you're stacked such at every position that you could miss a guy and the team could come in and still win 50 games and compete for the Eastern Conference Finals. So no, you can't. There's nobody in this draft that's going to play next year. Nobody. So let's get that out the way. There's still going to be knuckheads coming at me. Well, this guy can crack the rotation. No, there's nobody. Let me say it one more time. There's no player in this college draft that can play with the New York Knicks in the rotation next year. Nobody. Okay, so just get this straight. If the Knicks draft somebody this year, they're not going to play next year. They're not going to probably play the year after that, maybe. Okay, you got to keep that in mind. I like Zach Edey in the second round. And the reason I like him in the second round, because you cannot teach 7'4". Okay? There's things you cannot teach. Like Mitchell Robinson's 7-foot wingspan and knowing how to use that, you can't teach that. Either you have it or you don't. All right? There's things you can't teach. You can't teach Julius Randle 6'8", 245, 50 pounds with quickness. You can't teach that. Some guys just have those things. And when you come into the league, there's going to be something a guy has that he just naturally has, that he brings to the table. Sometimes it's height. Sometimes it's speed. Sometimes it's toughness, quickness. But there's something that is elite on an elite level. For example, Deuce McBride had defensive instincts and toughness on an elite level at West Virginia, which is why I wanted the Knicks to get him. Okay? Fit Thibs in every respect, as we now see 3 years later. Well, Zach Edey, you cannot teach 7'4". Has that. Okay? He is a rim protector. Okay? He does have excellent low post moves. But you know who else had all of that? Jahlil Okafor. And where is he now? See? So, but I can see him in a second round, and he's 22, so he'll be an older guy, coming in more mature, working his tail off with the G League team, and getting ready to come in. Now, this is the thing, though. See? What people have to understand. He would be taking Jericho Sims' spot. So if you got a Zach Edey, Jericho Sims would not be long for the New York Knicks. Okay, matter of fact, they'd probably include him in a trade. You know, and there's only one player we're talking about trading for. It's not Donovan Mitchell. I don't need to go there, but y'all know, to keep the whole Villanova thing going. So, yeah, but that would be the situation. You're not going to keep 4 centers. So if you drafted a Zach Edey, it's a second round guy. It's a guy you're going to develop for 2 years, maybe a year, and then he'll come in and he'll play the minutes that Sims would be paying. And that would be very good because now you have Hartenstein, who's only 25. You got Mitch Rob, who's only 26. And you'd have this kid who's, when he's ready to play, he'll be like 23. And that would be great because now if you have injuries to the first 2 guys, you got Precious also that can play the power forward as well as the 5. And then you'd have a guy like a Zach Edey that could come in when you need them extra minutes and do a good job and learn Thibs' system. Now, again, 7'4", close to 300 pounds, in really good shape. He's not 300 pounds fat. This boy is in pretty good condition. In fact, he's in excellent condition. And then we you know, he got the rim protection. He's got the low post moves. He really does. He's not going to shoot a 3. He's not. That's okay, though. In Thibs' system, your 5 does not need to shoot a 3. He needs to protect the rim. Zach Edey can do that. The only thing that he's missing or that I'm not sure about or that he has to prove is motor. That's the only thing. Okay? I don't know what kind of motor he has. See, the skills at the NBA Draft Combine, they show you skills. They don't show you motor. Even in the scrimmages, you got to show motor, and it's hard when the guy that big. You're basically playing against college guys. It's hard to see what he's got. So we'll have to. That would have to be something that's shown in his workouts with the Knicks. It has to be something that's shown in the summer league. Go in the G League going forward. That's the only thing. He's got to show he's got some sort of motor. If he does, he'd be a really good second round pick. I like him for the Knicks. Again, it would be the end of Jericho Sims as a Knick. Okay, and I'd hate to see that because I like Jericho Sims. He's a Knick. So we'd have to see how that works out, but that's what you would get with Zach Edey. So far, they're basically three players that I have seen so far that I would say, okay, these are possible Knicks. I mentioned also Iguodala. I like him also, another second round type guy. And he's the type of guy that the Knicks would love to draft. A second rounder. You don't have to pay a lot of money for the second rounder. You got guaranteed money in the first round. And then even more, they like to take on undrafted guys like Jacob Toppin. He wasn't even drafted. And he's on the roster. See? So that I like also Iguodala. I like Zach Edey. And then we talked about Ryan Dunn. Also, I like him as well from Virginia. I don't think the Knicks would get him because he's projected to be late first. It depends on how much they have an appetite for paying first round money. And that's what I'm saying. If I had to say, okay, can I get Ryan Dunn in the first round, let's say 30th, 28th pick, or I can get also Iguodala or Zach Edey in the second round, well, I'm taking one of those other two guys in the second round. Okay, if I got that choice, if it comes down to that. Okay. Ryan Dunn, really motor, defense, runs the floor, team player. He fits. He does. I mean, I like Ryan Dunn, but it ain't like none of these guys are superstars. Okay. A superstar is either a guy that, like, for example, you got a Ja Morant. It was obvious, coming out of, Murray State that he was going to be that dude, right? I mean, it was obvious. Luka Doncic, those type of guys. Some guys you could just see it. It's all over them. They got too many skills. They're elite in several areas, and you can see that's going to translate. Or Edwards. But not everybody's like that. Every once in a while, you'll see a guy pop that's drafted late in the first round, even second round, like a Kawhi Leonard, like a Paul George, like a PG, obviously a Joker second round pick, or Jalen Brunson. Every once in a while, you get a guy like that. But it's not something you expect. It's something that you hope could happen. And in the Knicks case, as fortunate as we are, it did. Okay, something that you hope could happen. You can get a steal in the second round. So the Knicks right now have Jalen Brunson starting second round pick. Okay, they got Mitchell Robinson in their rotation, second round pick. They got Deuce McBride, second round pick. Okay, so all of these guys are rotation pieces, and as I've been saying from the beginning, championship pieces, second round. Okay, so that's what the Don is looking for. He's looking for a steal, as he should be. And so he's looking for a steal. I like Ryan Dunn, but on the chart, unless, like I said, we have to see how he does it. Ryan Dunn, that is, in individual workouts with the Knicks. He can't. None of these guys can shoot. Okay, none of them can shoot. And that's all right. That's not the criteria with the Knicks. Again, defense, toughness, motor, rebounding. That's the criteria. If you happen to get a guy like a Brunson, or you could get a guy like a Devo that can shoot, okay, we'll take that. But you can't always find that. But for Tom Thibodeau, defense first. Even Deuce said in his post-game conference, I'm defense first. Deuce can shoot. Always could. Some of y'all was doubting for 3 years when I was telling you the boy could shoot. He just needs time, minutes. Now you're seeing it. It's not like he developed it. He always could shoot. He just needed the time. Okay? Now he's got it. And he's showing his skills. Shooting great. And that's good for the Knicks, obviously. But defense first. Defense first. So I like Ryan Dunn. I like Zach Edey, second round. I like also Iguodala, second round. And this is the good thing now. If Ryan Dunn was to slip into the second round, Getting 2 out of those 3, that'd be a home run draft for the Knicks. That'd be a home run draft. So, and I don't care which 2. So in other words, if Ryan Dunn slipped, let's say, to 32, and Zach Edey is projected at 35, I think that's good for him. And then of course, Oso Ighodaro is projected anywhere from 35 to 43, and you were able to get 2 of those guys, that'll be a home run draft for the Knicks. And they have 2 mature guys that can ball in the G League for a year, that can come back and learn Thibs' system and be valuable pieces later on. That's what we're talking about. Right now, the Knicks are into long-term sustainable winning. We have a top 8, when the Knicks are fully healthy. Julius is the oldest one. He's going to be 30, and that's the oldest one, okay? Everybody else is in their 20s. Everybody else is in their 20s. And then you got Hart, who's going to be 30 next year. Those are your oldest dudes. Everybody else is in their 20s. They have a team, as it's now constituted, coming into training camp that can roll for the title for the next 2 or 3 seasons after this one. Okay, that's long-term sustainable winning. So what you want now is pieces that'll come behind those guys that can wait 2 years, that can grind and be ready to play when they're called upon. That's these type of guys looking at. Now, next year, not this year, next year you might want to use a first round. It might be that time. Next year, not this year though. This year, give me guys that grind. Give me guys that play defense. Give me guys that are tough. Give me guys that'll fit with Thibs. Give me that this year. Next year, we'll talk about something a little bit more expensive, something on more of a top shelf for the Knicks. But we're not going to be moving up drafts and everything. We'll see what happens. But this year, the plan is these 3 guys. Like, I like Ryan Dunn. I like Oso, like I said, and I like Zach Edey. Can't teach 7'4". He can't teach that. So if that young man could get in there and guard the rim for us, and he's not the type that's going to be jumping at every shot, because he's not that athletic. He's a big lumbering dude, but that's actually good. That's why I'm more concerned with his motor than anything else. But we'll see what happens. But Zach Edey, I like him. Those are the 3 guys. I think at this point, I don't see anybody else that I'm really. There's probably a guy I'm missing or 2. I'd say that there's probably a guy or 2 I'm missing. I would not mind a guy between 6'7" and 6'10" that can play the small forward spot that I could develop. I'm looking and I see a couple of possibilities, but I'm not really sold on any of them. So I gotta keep looking. There's a couple of possibilities, but nobody that's really telling me, man, we got to get this guy. I don't see that, at this point. Like I said, somebody between 6'7" and 6'10" that could play the 3 as well as maybe the 4 in a backup role in a couple of years. There's a couple of guys. Like I said, I know y'all gonna be throwing guys at me. There's a couple of guys, but nobody. If they're really worth your time, they're probably gonna be gone by the time the Knicks pick, and they ain't worth us moving up to get. So let's just wait on next year and see what we can get with that. But for now, these 3 guys are the guys I'm looking at for the Knicks. ISO, Zach, and Ryan. Those 3. And then I'm sure, I am 100% sure, the Knicks are going to bring a whole bunch of guys undrafted into camp and see who can make the squad. They're going to do that too. They do that every year. So anyway, that's the review today. Zach Edey, one of the guys I'd like to see the Knicks pick. But again, to get him means you're losing Jericho Sims. Understand that. Also understand he wouldn't be playing next year. Y'all enjoy your Thursday. Let's get ready for this playoff game. I know the Knicks are. They're probably in Indiana now. Maybe they're going to fly out there tonight and be ready to play tomorrow night. But they haven't set a time yet for the game. I'm expecting them to do that today, hopefully. They set a time for the game, because if it's early enough, I could watch some of it. But we'll see what happens. Y'all enjoy your Thursday. Be safe out there. So